Hi friends, and thanks so much for being here today. I'm Anna Helman, and today I have a simple fun fold design to share with you that you can recreate in minutes using any of the products in your collection to decorate it. Now, in addition, I have lots of techniques to share and an absolutely beautiful card that I'll be creating in the process. I hope you watch along. Let's get started. First, I'll share with you a sample card using this fun fold pattern, and then we're going to create another one using the same pattern that is going to be completely different and have several techniques like I mentioned. So I created this one using the cup of tea bundle. Now let me show you how the fun fold works. It's just a simple flap. I've created it with a die cut here on the front with some circles, just a simple little flap, and then the rest of this opens just like a regular card. But I thought it was really sweet with this cup of tea bundle. I'll show that to you quickly, and then I'll show you what we are going to use on the card we're going to create together. Now the bundle I'm using here is called Fond of Autumn. I have been looking at it since it arrived in one of my orders, and I am just in love with this floral bouquet that has the acorns and berries and a few other things in it. I have been waiting for the perfect opportunity to use it. I have used it before, but I've been waiting for an opportunity to use that big, beautiful floral bundle, and we are doing that today. So what we'll do first, I'll show you how to put together the card base for the fun fold, and it's very simple. And then we are going to get to doing some decorating and techniques. What you'll need to create the fun fold is very simple. Your regular card base measures 5.5 by 8.5 and fold that in half. And then a piece that measures 1.5 by 3. You want to score that at 1/2 inch. Then you will just need whatever pieces or die cuts you're going to place on top. I have 2 circles that I've die cut with my Layering Circles die collection. You don't have to use die cuts. You could cut squares or rectangles or die cuts or punches, but something that you're going to attach to your flap that you can put either a sentiment or some kind of focal point on it. So what I'm doing, I just put some adhesive onto that flap, the little part that had been scored off. And what I like to do to attach this little flap to my card, now I want that adhesive, right now it's face up, but as I fold it, it's going to be face down so that it attaches to the inside of my card on this back flap. I like to hook this over the front flap. And then if you want to, you can line up your die cuts, make sure this is going to look, they're going to be in the right spot for you. And as I'm folding it under, just press the card closed. Okay, this makes sure that my front flap is going to lay flat and this folds over the top. Then you can go ahead and attach your die cuts to these. So I will put some adhesive. You don't want to put adhesive all the way over here the corners if you're using circles, because your die cut will not completely cover the flap. Here you can see the little corners are showing. But I will go ahead and attach these, and you can see this is how easy this fun fold design comes together. It's really nice to have a special fold for your card, but sometimes we don't have 20 minutes or an hour to put together some fancy fun fold design. So this is just really simple and easy and cute, and you can decorate it however you want. So let's get to looking at the pieces I'm going to use to decorate this. And I'll show you this piece first. We are going to finish this here in just a second. I'll bring it up close. I have this on some shimmery white cardstock. I have a feeling you probably won't be able to see the shimmers, but I just love how this is turning out. I created this by first stamping. This is that big, beautiful floral cluster that I love so much. Here, I'll bring this back in so you can see what it looks like on the stamp set. So what I did, I inked this with some Sahara sand ink. And to do this lineless coloring technique where you don't really see the lines around the edges of what I've stamped, or if you see them, they're very light. To do that, what I did, I inked this with Sahara sand. I stamped 2 times onto scrap paper, And then I stamped onto this. And I chose shimmery white cardstock because when I'm using my water painters, it allows the color in the water to glide and flow instead of soaking right in and being more blotchy. You get more of the beautiful watercolor technique, watercolor look. So I stamped this once, I inked it again, I stamped twice on a scrap paper, I turned this around, I stamped again, and then I repeated that a couple of times to fill in this spot down here. Maybe it was just a third time to get my lines very faintly on the background of my cardstock. So here you can see some. I haven't colored these yet. We will do this in just a second, but that's what this whole thing looked like before I did my coloring. Now let's do a little bit of watercoloring with the water painters. This, I have a couple of ways I like to add color to projects. This one is very possibly my favorite. I love that using the water painters really is pretty carefree. If you go outside the lines, it doesn't really matter because it's watercolor and it's supposed to be a little bit messy. It's not supposed to be perfect. So here I have one of my blocks. When I'm watercoloring with a few colors and I know I only need a little bit of color, I really like to put them on the same block like this and add some water. I like to use the same block just so I don't have all kinds of blocks floating around on my work surface. So what I'm going to do, I squeezed my water painter to get a little bit of water there on the block, and then I'm mixing this. You can mix it so that it's very faded or only use a little bit of water so that you get a deeper color. And I am just going to paint and pick up a little bit more. I've been using my water painters a lot lately. Sometimes I get into spurts where I use certain products more than others. So if you follow along, you have probably seen some other projects I have been creating with these, and you may see some more coming soon as well. The colors I have used to add color to the flower and leaf arrangement here. I am using Fresh Freezer right now. And I am going to use some scrap paper here to clean out my brush, and then I'll move on to the next color. The greenish color for the leaves, that is Mint Macaron. I have used two different colors of brown. The darker color is Soft Suede. The lighter color is Crumb Cake. And I also use some Blackberry Bliss for those lovely berries. So you could make this look nice for any time of the year, depending on the colors you choose. I debated going more fallish in colors, but I decided to stick with this. I actually took my inspiration from the paper pack that I am using. It is called Splendid Day, and it had a few of these colors in it. So that's where I got my inspiration for colors. Now let's add a little bit of this crumb cake to this lovely oak leaf here. And then our coloring for this will be complete. I really had fun coloring this. This would be a good project for if you like to sit in front of the TV sometimes. In the evenings, I hear from a lot of stampers. You like to do some projects on the couch sometimes. This would be a great thing. Just stamp a few of these and then sit down and add color to them while you watch some TV. Or some stamp TV, right? That's what you're watching right now, some stamp TV. Okay, so I have this complete. I really like the way this has turned out. So let's go ahead and assemble the rest of our card, and you'll see how it comes together. Actually, before I do that, I am making an impromptu decision here. I want to emboss this. I have created a few cards in the past where after I have something lovely here on my background, emboss them and then add a little bit of color with some blending brushes. And typically they turn out just absolutely beautiful. So we're going to try this here. So I have my platform. This is my time-worn type embossing folder. We'll crank this through and emboss it and then add a little bit of color with our blending brushes. This Time Worn Type folder is one I have really used a lot because it's just really basic. It does have words and letters in it, but they're very distressed and it just adds that aged look. So I am going to bring in a piece of grid paper. We will add just a little bit of tan ink. Let's see, I have crumb cake right here. We'll use crumb cake. So I use one blending brush for all of my browns. So when I'm using a lighter color, I like to just do a little bit onto my scrap paper to make sure I didn't have a dark color last time and there's still a lot of that dark color left in it. So pick up some crumb cake and I really just want to do the edges with this. I don't want to cover up that beautiful color I've already done. Just want to add a little bit of aging to the edges. So those raised portions pick up more of that color than the lowered ones, helping the pattern to stand out a little bit more here on the edges where I'm doing this. And here you can see how that looks. Now, of course, you could add more or less color if you like. But now I believe I am ready to assemble this. So I'll show you the other pieces I've prepared. And if you want the full measurements for all of this, you can use the link in the video description below. You can go to my website and I have all of them typed out for you to make it easy. So here I have a piece of this Splendid Day designer paper. This is some of the most beautiful paper I think I've ever seen. And I thought it would be perfect for this card. So this measures the same as the front of my card. So I'm going to fully cover the card front with this piece. And then I will attach this piece we have created, which is just slightly smaller. So you can see that foil outline. Looks like this was my do-over. I had tried on the back and I ended up using two different colors of ink. So I stamped again on the back side. I like to reuse my papers if possible and not waste them. I don't like to throw things away. Okay, so we'll put that right there onto that mat. And now we are going to finish the focal point right here on the flap. I didn't want this to be very busy because I don't want to take away from that lovely background, but I wanted to have a large greeting. And the one I found that I chose to use is from the Stepping Stone stamp set. This one, Alone We Can Do So Little, Together We Can Do So Much. Helen Keller. And I thought this would be nice for a thinking of you card for when you want to let someone know you are there for them if they're going through something difficult, possibly. So what I've done, I embossed this onto some vellum. I stamped with my Versamark. I embossed it with white embossing powder. And I want to attach it right here over this piece. I loved the way this Mint Macaron designer paper looked, but I didn't want to stamp right on it. I wasn't sure the greeting would show up well enough, so I thought it would be perfect to place it on the vellum. That way you can clearly see the greeting, but you also can still appreciate that designer paper. So I stamped and embossed this, then I die cut it out with a circle die, then I laid it on my trimmer and trimmed straight edges along the top and bottom. That way we can see the mint paper at the top and bottom. What we're going to do to attach this to the designer paper, when we attach vellum, it can be tricky to make sure that we don't see any of the adhesive behind. Now, a lot of times I do have good luck with Stampin' Seal that if I'm putting it over a lighter color, a lot of times I can use this and it will not show. Just to be sure, I am going to use one of my other tricks that I like to use. And I thought this would be good. If you haven't seen this before, that it could help some of you realize that this is an option for attaching vellum as well. So what you do is take a silicone craft mat, or you can do this on scrap paper if you want, but get a sponge and just apply a very thin layer across the entire background of your vellum. Once you have that applied, it is ready to attach. So this is a really great way if you have detailed pieces or just any piece of vellum that you're not sure how to attach and keep the adhesive from showing through. This works really well. Okay, now that we have this, I want to add one more piece to decorate it, and then I will show you how I'm going to decorate the inside, because I thought a card this pretty deserved a really beautiful inside as well. So I am going to put this flower. Where should I put it? Where should I put it, my friends? Let's put it down here. I think I like that. So I am going to put, this is some of my Seal Plus, my really strong adhesive. So I can put just a little bit of it up here on the corner. Add that. You want to make sure you don't have any of your adhesive hanging off the edge of the circle. Otherwise, it is going to stick to the front of your card here. And let's look at the inside. Here I've used some more of that designer paper around the edges, and then a small strip here, and another greeting that I thought was perfect to go with the one on the front. This one says, "Together we are stronger." And this comes from a really unique stamp set called Stronger Together. But I thought that was a really nice greeting. And I'll be able to use this to send to somebody who's going through a difficult time, and I just want to let them know that I am there for them. So let's add this to the inside. If you ever struggle with knowing what to put on the inside of your card, this is a really nice way to step it up a notch and use some designer paper. You can just use an outline, a matte behind, or you can just use a strip, or you can use both like I've shown here. And before we are completely done, let's add a little bit of bling. It always makes projects better, I think, doesn't it? So these are some really pretty sequins. They're adhesive back sequins and gems. And I just wanted to add a few. They came in the same colors as the inks I had used, so I thought they were perfect. So I hope you have enjoyed seeing this project. I really appreciate you watching along with me today. If you are not a subscriber, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Hopefully you can find lots of other inspiration and ideas here. If you are interested in any of the products I have shared today, you can find links in the video description below. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you'll be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.